Hey everybody, John Skiba here from the Consumer Warrior YouTube channel. And in this video, we're going to talk about all things credit card related and bankruptcy, how you can get rid of those things once and for all. But if this is your first time here at my YouTube channel, please click subscribe. That way you'll be notified each and every week when I put out new videos that'll help you deal with serious debt problems. All right, let's talk about credit cards. I'm recording this in August of 2022. I just saw a video online with Dave Ramsey. He's been interviewed by one of the big news channels. They were talking about this statistic that's out there, that there has never been such a large implosion, or explosion, I guess, of credit card debt than there has now. It's been like 40 years since, relative to prior times, there's been such a large amount of credit card debt. And I can tell you, as a bankruptcy attorney in the state of Arizona, when I file a bankruptcy, it's almost always related to credit card debt. People carry huge amounts of credit card debt, and it just kind of snowballs over the years. So in this video, I want to talk about everything related to how to get rid of that credit card debt in a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, and a couple things you need to be careful of as well. The first thing you need to know is that in most cases, in most Chapter 7 bankruptcies, the credit card debt is going to be discharged completely. It's going to go away. It's going to be eliminated. They're not going to be able to ever try to collect on it again. They can't sue you. They can't collect on it. It's gone. In fact, you'll see after you file your Chapter 7 bankruptcy and you go and look at your credit report, those credit cards will actually be zeroed out. There's going to be no money owed on them. The debt is eliminated completely. Now, the second thing I want to talk about is I often get the question of, hey, I have all these credit cards. I need this debt to get taken care of, but I'm in a situation where I'd like to keep this one particular card. Maybe it doesn't have a balance on it. Maybe it's something where you want to, I had someone tell me recently, like Care Credit, they're using it for medical bills. Unfortunately, if you're going to file for bankruptcy, you need to plan on all of your credit cards being terminated. Even if you don't have a balance, even if you're current on the monthly payments, they're going to terminate the card. The reason is, in the terms and conditions of the credit card, the filing of a bankruptcy is considered an act of default. And that act of default means that they're going to cut it off, they're going to terminate it, you're not going to have any access to it. So if you're going into a bankruptcy, you need to realize this is your chance to have a fresh start. That also means you're going to start over as far as having credit cards. For good or for bad, I can tell you this, one thing that always amazes all of my clients is almost as soon as they file their bankruptcy case with the bankruptcy court, they will all of a sudden start seeing in their mail, they're getting advertisements for credit cards. There's a couple of reasons for this. One, credit card companies are assuming now that you've gone through Chapter 7, you have a lot more disposable income to pay them if they give you a credit card. And two, you can't file another Chapter 7 bankruptcy for 8 years. So they view you kind of in a weird way as a good credit risk, because you have more disposable income, because you've just eliminated all this debt. And then the second thing they're looking at is you can't file bankruptcy on them for at least 8 years. So they've got you for 8 years. So I always say, be careful though. Tread lightly in trying to get credit cards after a bankruptcy filing. Now, number three thing I want to talk about when it comes to credit cards and bankruptcy is a couple things you need to be aware of. If you are in a position where you're needing to file a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you ought to look at some of your credit card usage leading up to that, because there are some specific provisions in the bankruptcy code where the credit card company can come in and object to specific charges that you've made. For instance, if you have used your credit card in the 90 days prior to filing for bankruptcy for luxury items totaling more than $800, then the credit card company can come in and object to those specific charges going away. So that leads to the obvious question of what's a luxury item. Surprisingly, the bankruptcy code does not define that, but the various courts have. Essentially, if it's like a non-essential, if you're traveling, the world or something, or cruise, going on a big cruise, or you bought expensive jewelry, something like that on a credit card leading right up to the bankruptcy filing, then that could give rise to that if it was done in 90 days prior to the filing of your case. Those creditors could come in and object to those specific charges from going away. Now, I can tell you that's what the law is. I can tell you in practice, I have not seen very many creditors ever do that. In fact, I can count the number of times it happened on one hand, and I think it's happened twice in my 20 years roughly of doing this. So that's not to say go out and spend a bunch of money on credit cards prior to filing your case. Just you need to be aware of the very real situation where a creditor might object if it's excessive. Now, in something similar, the fourth thing I want to talk about are cash advances. If you have taken out a cash advance of more than $1,100 in the 70 days prior to filing your bankruptcy, same type of scenario, that creditor can come in and object to that specific charge from going away. And when it comes to luxury items or cash advance, same thing, the creditor actually has to come in and file paperwork with the court saying, hey, these debts shouldn't go away because of this provision of the bankruptcy code. So my advice to anybody I meet with here in Arizona when I am talking to them about bankruptcy is two things as it relates to credit cards. One, you should stop using them. If you have made the decision 100% in your mind, I am going to file for bankruptcy, you should stop using your credit cards completely. Not only is it legally the right thing to do, it's ethically, morally, I think the right thing to do if you know you're not going to be paying it back. The second thing that you need to think about is if you are 100% in your mind going to file your bankruptcy, I would not make any more payments to those creditors because it's not going to help your bankruptcy case. It's not going to help your credit score, anything like that. Basically, once you've made your decision or you've met with an attorney like myself and you decided, hey, I'm going forward with this process, put the credit cards away, maybe even cut them up, throw them away, that kind of thing. Don't use them anymore. So hopefully that helps you. If you're dealing with a lot of serious credit card debt, bankruptcy is a very efficient way and powerful way to deal with that problem so you can move on with a true fresh start. If you're in the state of Arizona, check out my contact information below. I give free consultations when it comes to bankruptcy where we can put together a plan and decide if it's a good option for you. Surprise, it's not a good option for everybody, but at least we can sit down, talk about it, and determine if it is a good step to help you deal with that serious debt problem. Thanks for watching today.